Welcome to the Claim Your Day podcast. Here, it's all about taking full advantage of the time we have today and becoming intentional with our actions so we each can have the impact we want. If you want to stop drifting through life and start directing your life, and you're open to a short podcast from someone who's working at the exact same thing, then welcome. You're in the right place, my friend. Hi, I'm your host, Nick Mazey. To respect your time and so you can claim your day, let's dive right in. Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Claim Your Day podcast. Thrilled that you're here. We get to go on this journey together of being intentional, stopping the drifting through life, and actually pursuing the lives that we want and having an impact. So with this first episode, I'm going to start off with a quick exercise, and it's going to a little bit of set the tone for it. So right now, I want you to just imagine, real briefly, finishing your day feeling like you've made the most of it. Like you accomplished something, you added some value. Maybe you made progress toward something that's most important to you. Maybe you achieved your goals, a big goal or not. Maybe you just made some progress. You did some things that added some value, and you could see that you checked off the things that you wanted to accomplish for that day. Maybe you enjoyed it a little bit. Had some enjoyment, felt fulfilled. Like you did well. Can you see that? Can you see finishing your day and looking back on it and saying, hey, you know what? It wasn't perfect. Some things went wrong. Something went sideways, but I did good. I accomplished some things. I made some progress. I gave it my best effort, and I was effective. Can you think about what it would be like to finish your days feeling like you were fulfilled a little bit? Well, if you're anything like me, then that's the feeling that you want. I want that for myself. I want that for you. And in fact, focusing on pursuing that is what this podcast is going to be all about. So if that doesn't resonate with you, if that's not something that you want, okay, maybe this podcast isn't for you. But if it is, if you are anything like me, and you do want to be able to finish your days the majority of the time and say, today was a good day. I made some progress. I did some work. I added some value. I feel fulfilled. I didn't just drift through today. Then you're in the right place. And that's what we're going to pursue together. Having meaningful days. It's all about making that progress. It's all about, finding fulfillment in what we do and how we add value. But those things, those meaningful days, that progress, that fulfillment, none of that happens by accident. You're never going to ask somebody that is successful, it's achieved what they want to achieve, that adds great value to people, and they're just like, I don't know how I did it. Magically, I ended up achieving what I want to achieve. Never does that happen. It requires intention. It requires being intentional, and having that purpose, and then following through with that with the action. Now, it does sound like a tall order. No one's going to be intentional all the time. I certainly know that I am not, and I'm far from it. At the same time, it is worth every bit of effort to not drift. Because drifting through life, basically, is just reacting all the time. And it's all the distractions, all the things coming your way, and that ends up being your major focus and not the original pursuit of what's most important to you and your values. Look, I know as much as anybody else that there are going to be fires to put out throughout the day. We all have demands for our time and attention. And it seems like more and more, there's just more and more distractions that will steal your attention, and they'll take your focus off what's most important for you, your life, and your values. Now, I don't have a magic solution to sell you where all those distractions and all the fires that need to get put out, all of it's just going to be fixed, and that nothing's ever going to derail you from staying on track, intentional with your purpose, and never drifting again. That would be a bunch of snake oil hooey. That's not possible. But instead, what I want to promote here, and that's something that I'm working on, and so I'm actively learning this information. I'm trying to pursue it and develop it in my own life, and that's what I'm going to share with you. What I am promoting here is that if we do try our best, if we strive to be intentional and remember and focus on what our true values are, if we keep that in our minds and we do some exercises and we develop those small habits, if we do some of these things, then we actually can have our lives go where we want them to go. We can drift a little less and a little less and be a little bit more intentional and a little bit more. Because your values are important. They might be a little bit different than mine. And I believe that my values are extremely important. I'm not here to push my values on you, but I'm here to say that what you do value for your life and what you've decided is most important, it has to be important in your actions. And so here we'll talk about, exploring what your values are and exploring why they're important, and then evaluating what you're doing to make sure that it's on track and in line with your values and what's most important to you. Because that's where the drift happens. The drift happens is that when we start doing something that's not exactly aligned with what we think is most important. And the drift's going to happen because of all the distractions, of all the, let's just be honest, of all the marketing and companies that want to steal your attention and tell you something else is important. That's what's going to get you off track. Because every time you say yes to something, to anything, you're actually saying no to other things. You can only do one thing at a time. That dollar that you're going to spend, you can only spend it on one thing. Once it's spent, it's spent. Once your time is spent, once that decision is spent, it's spent. And essentially, it's saying no to everything else that you could have used it for. So today I just want to give you a little bit of encouragement. We'll dive more into more things in further episodes, but just this first one, I just want to give you a little bit of encouragement and say that you can make the most of your time today. You can place intention on the little choices you make today so that to your greatest ability possible, your small choices are in line with your values. Your small choices are directing your day to go in the direction that you want. That your small choices, those little things, are actually helping you to be intentional and to add value to the life that you have according to your values. You can claim your day with intentional actions that align with your values, and you can choose to stop drifting. Distractions and demands will come. They will come and attack you. But my friend, they don't have to win. You can claim your day. You can make progress towards your goals and live according to your values. I promise you can. It'll be tough, but like John Maxwell says, everything worthwhile is uphill all the way. And it is tough to claim your day, but I promise you, it is worth it. Here's to you, my friend. Let's do this journey together. And I can't wait for you to join me in the next episode. Take care.